Let me into my zone. Please don't let me into my zone. 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 Please don't.
And we're back. Welcome back to Krown's Crypto Cave. It's a nice little Monday morning over here from a very dark and very cold Helsinki, Finland. For reference, right now it's about 9:20 in the morning, and it's literally pitch black out outside right now. I'm seeing some people asking in the Discord, is Krown doing a live stream? Unfortunately, no, not today. I'll be doing a pre-recorded video, assuming that I can actually get my words out properly throughout this whole, however long this video ends up being. I do have a doctor's appointment early this morning, so I do have to make sure that I'm on time, as they only had a an early time slot available. And I actually want to ask people here, do you guys prefer the live streams or the uploaded videos? Because I've been, over the past couple days when I do the pre-recorded videos, people have been saying that they actually prefer that quite a bit more, which I'm interested to hear. I mean, at the end of the day, man, it doesn't make sense to put out, content that people aren't fucking interested in. Otherwise, what's the point, right? Anyways, I also see some writing in the Discord about looking at the cracked trader timeframes. Yeah, man, this market's been super dull in the last few weeks, really, and that's relegated people to looking at these lower timeframes. So I do want to have a discussion of that during this video here. And this video is going to be focused actually more on the more proximal price action. Of course, if you want the long-term analysis, definitely go check out the video that I uploaded yesterday in the playlist titled Long-Term Analysis, as that's going to be pertinent to that. Other than that, I think that's pretty much everything that I wanted to talk about. We're still semi on schedule for the Krown trading app being released to the public in around Christmas time. Hopefully bringing the jewel back by that time as well. So working as hard as possible for that. And that's kind of where I've had all my energies directed towards. And I just want to apologize to the people on Discord who I have been a little bit late with getting back towards. That has been, that project has taken up a lot of my energy. And while I'm happy to do it, it does mean that, I've kind of like titrate, my focus is on that. So for right now, that's been like the main priority so that we can get that going back around. And I think with all of that said, I think it's time to get in the live scene. So wishing the best and the happiest. A little bit on edge myself this morning, so I'm going to press that button. And boom, there she is. Beautiful Bitcoin on the daily. Below the 21 still, above the 10 simple, having a couple closes above it. And realistically, looking at the daily right here, that we're not really getting too much from this chart. I mean, the obvious things are the obvious things that we've been speaking about. And like I said, I'm going to avoid doing more long-term analysis on this video. The highest time frame that I'll go is like maybe a 2-day or 3-day. But looking at this right here, yeah, we technically do have an Adam and Eve bottom potentially in place, but the way to play a pattern is wait till we actually break above the critical mass point, which at this point would be around 78.50, this prior high right here. So we got a lot of work to do for that to even be a tradable activity from a pattern trader's perspective. Of course, I'm just, that's the way that I trade patterns. It doesn't mean it's the only way to trade patterns, and I'm not a pattern trader myself. I mean, I don't really consider myself one for that reason. But hey, looking at the lower time frames right here, it does look constructive. This does look like accumulation on the lows, and we do have a series of higher lows and higher highs on the 4-hour. So it's fucking crazy. In fact, if we go over maybe to like a 12-hour, we do have higher lows as well. We don't have higher highs, but we do have higher lows, and we do have higher lows on a daily in place. I believe 2-day as well. Yes, indeed, and triple day as well. So I like all of this for, at the very least, a short-term bounce to likely get carried up a little bit further upwards and onwards. I want to follow it from my trade yesterday. If you missed the video yesterday, I took a long somewhere down around 7,400. I have gotten rid of a little bit more than half of that right around here at around, not at the top, but about 75.20-ish region. And I'm still holding on. And then I was holding on to about another half, and then actually just re-longed this morning on this last little drop down to the 55 right around 74.40, because we are still, by definition, making higher lows. And if you want to draw a trend line in here, certainly can. So at the very least, probably going to offer up a nice little scalpy scalp. And if you do look at the lower time frames, which like I said is going to be a focus of this video, and by lower time frames I mean like in like a 4-hour to a 12-hour. Okay, anything below 4-hour is crack trader time frame bullshit on Bitcoin land. Other assets you can definitely make work, but in cryptocurrency land, I don't think it's as viable. Or at least I'm sure that there's people out there who are making a shit ton of money trading them. I just don't think that it's the best use of time versus time time in general, time and trade, and then time, and then, gains on top of that. I think the best bang for buck in cryptocurrency at the very least is like a 4-hour and actually really a 12-hour when we get into these long form consolidations, of which we're in one right now. Very similar to what we saw in March of this year and also September of this year. Both, major consolidations on pivot, on market pivots, and then the market, explodes after that. And I think that we're going to be seeing something similar to that. Anyways, looking at this right here, if you are looking at this as a ascending triangle on the right-hand side right here, we would have a nice horizontal right around 75.50-ish region. If we can close a 4-hour dildo above there, I would be looking for this to take another leg up to the 70, at the very least 76.50, or sorry, about 76.50, 7700. But realistically, I would extend that to 7800, 78.50-ish region right here. That's the next big area. You do see the 4-hour 200 exponential moving average kind of looming right above. And while all major moving averages are bearish on just about every time frame that matters, even on the lower time frames like this, we can very easily have some upside and still be in a pretty heavy and pretty nasty bear market. In fact, I'm going to be showing a few things in a little bit that are quite damning, at least for what we're looking at longer term. But again, I want to avoid the long-term analysis right now. Again, go to the video yesterday if you're interested in something like that, as I want to make this one a little bit on the shorter side. So, on the lower time frames right here, what are we looking at? Well, we basically have a potential cup and handle in the formation right now. This is typically how you get it. We also have an Adam and Eve potentially in formation as well. Both are very far away from getting confirmed, but it's going to be, it's still level by level is the way to go, because it's quite little. I mean, it's just right in your fucking face right now. Where we are right now, this is our last little higher low right here. As long as we're above 7,400, which is where I longed. I don't really see any reason to be short-term, medium-term bearish. I do think that we probably, float our way upwards and onwards as we do kind of wedge ourselves into this ascending triangle right here on the lower time frames. If we do break above this 75.50-ish region with at the very least a 2-hour dildo close, technically the measure move would be pointing us up towards about 77.50. I do believe that we'd probably just float our way up into this region right here though. So another, $100 range. These things are never exact. They just get you in the ballpark. So what I'll do is I'll put a nice blue box territory right on over here. And, personally speaking, I do think that we actually, head up around this region. Looking at momentum oscillators, we do see 4-hour Stokes looking like they're technically up right now, although they're very weak. It's not really giving us all that much. 4-hour Jewel is very unhelpful right there. And 4-hour RSI is actually more on the bearish side right now. But I don't have a huge problem with it. It's a little bit more tilted to the bearish side, although more than anything, it's neutral at that current posturing. The way that it would change around, again, it's just going level by level. We don't need to do any sort of crazy technical analysis here. If we do violate this level right here, 7,400, close, an hourly, even 2-hour dildo below there, I would be looking for another move all the way back down here towards 72.50 at the very least. Probably another small bounce there, and then continuation likely lower towards, 70.50 and probably beyond. I think that that's a little bit less likely thing to happen right now, but hey, if we do violate that area, then yes, that's what I'd be looking for, and that's going to destroy this structure right here. If we do come back down to this level, it likely does bounce here, but I think it'd just be a bounce that gets sold into. Let's see, what else do we have on the very low time frames, like a 3-hour. 3-hour Stokes are technically actually crossing down right now, but we do have this trend line forming here, so I'm not sure how much downside we have before this comes into play. Maybe another tilt back on over here. The longer that this goes sideways without breaking down, the more and more that's actually going to flip back around most likely. 3-hour RSI is similar to the 4-hour, more on the bear side, absolutely, but more neutral than anything really. Historical volatility percentile is telling us that we are going to be looking at a move relatively soon, an explosive move from these lower time frames perspective. We don't see the same sort of reads that we see on the higher time frames as we do on the lower time frames, but this would suggest that we probably have a few $100 move, sometime early this week, like today, tomorrow, something like that. Hourly right here, very, very low and starting to expand. And this is after collapsing on itself for quite some time. So I do think that this could actually be a nice little sustained move. Assuming that we actually do, take out that 75.50-ish region to the upside. Same thing with 2 hours, so 1, 2, 3, and I believe 4 perhaps as well. No, 4 hours still contracting. So yeah, you got the 1, 2, 3 hours historical volatility percentile, contracting to extremes, and that's probably going to be good enough. In my opinion, if we actually do break this level, very, very likely we see another $200, $300 move to the upside right here, and then game on once again, because remember that's where the Adam and Eve, or if you're looking at this as a potential cup and handle, that's likely where the decision point's going to be. So if we do get up there, I probably would be looking for a pullback on the first try. However, if we actually could close above here, especially on like a 4 hour above the 200 exponential moving average, which Bitcoin has been unable to do since, really since the death cross happened on the 4 hour back on 14th of November. It's been harassed ever since, really. Then we could extend this run all the way up into the low 8,000s, 81, 8,200, very, very likely after that. Again, that doesn't mean that the higher timeframes are not bearish. The higher timeframes are bearish as fuck, don't get me wrong. But we can very easily have, maybe, even like $1,000 rally from here, and it wouldn't change anything, really. And it'd be great for getting like all of the people on crypto Twitter absolutely bullish as fuck again, because that's what people do. And then have the liquidity to dump it on their faces to the downside once again as well. So yeah, looking at, that's essentially the lower time frames. Very, very simple. All things lining up for an actual move, probably today or tomorrow, I'd say. I want to check out expected moves chart right here while we're here. We do see the edge of the first standard deviation to the downside at 72.50, so it does match this horizontal right here. If we actually were to violate this region, and technically speaking, from an expected moves regard with respect to historical volatility percentile, it's actually a little bit more likely that we actually do break to the downside, funnily enough. Well, hold on. 72.50 right around here. We got 7,700 to the upside right here. Actually, it's pretty much neutral. It does have a slight downside twist, but I don't think that you can really actually make anything off that. It's actually right smack dab in the middle, so it would suggest that we are equally likely to break to the upside or the downside. I think that that's always just a general good rule to have, but looking at formations, looking at the lower time frame trend, I think that does goose the odds and the probability of the upside a little bit more. And this is just combining different forms of technical analysis with each other. I also want to go over here and check out the 12 hour. What are we looking at on this? We are going to see the 10, the longer that Bitcoin stays above the 21 on the 12 hour, the better it looks for that next leg up. As I believe, maybe this next one, maybe the one after that, as long as we don't break the 21 exponential moving average, which again is 74.50. So, that's almost the same as 7,400, which we're is that sort of decision point to the downside, in my opinion, on like the most preliminary time frames. If we do remain above there, we actually will see the 10 symbol cross the upside of the 21, and usually going to see a nice leg to the upside, at least back around our prior wick highs right around here, and probably even back around the 55. If that does happen. But again, we have another 4 hours and 27 minutes for this to get confirmed, and that can, a lot of things can happen in 4 hours, even though Bitcoin's been relatively quiet as of recent times. But here's the thing: 12-hour Stokes still up. They're going to be getting there. They're going to be working their way into the bullish control zone relatively soon. 12-hour RSI does have an air of hidden bearish divergence, but so hidden bearish divergence is in place. Technically, the problem is that we are in a weird trend right here, because we do have a higher low in place, but we do have lower highs in place, and the former trend is very much to the downside. So it's not a reversal of trend just yet. So it is technically right. However, the way to play it, and I believe that if it was going to play out, it would have played on this dildo right here. We would have closed below 74.50. That critical point. Instead, we found support there, which created a higher low. So I do believe that if that is going to play out, it only plays out to the downside if we take out this low right here, which is a little bit below 7,400. So even just taking out that low by ticking below it, that's good enough for making me believe that would come back all the way down to 72.50 and likely below after that. But a very easy trade to be managing right now. If you are taking longs within this region, likely a natural stop right here. Also famous last words, because it's a very obvious stop as well. So it's a great hunting area. Of course, this is not financial advice, not a financial advisor, and I would not even advise. I really don't even think that trading this right now is all that worth it, to be quite honest with you. But that would be present in there, and we should also denote that the 12-hour historical volatility percentile has been contracting for about almost 6 months now, since July. And you can kind of like run a regression through here and see all these spikes up. These are all the big moves that we've had in the last 5-6 months. And you can see that it's collapsing on itself longer term. We actually can get kind of a range of when this thing is likely to fully explode for the next big momentous market move, which is probably going to be, somewhere around February, March of this next coming year. So we still got another 2-3 months before I really think that we actually get moving once again. For now, everything's kind of contained within this region. And we do see that, this regression pretty much holding it down, which, you can still get these nice moves within it. I mean, these are $1,000 moves, all of them really. But we're not really like changing anything up on top of that. So, keep that in mind. Jewel on the 12 hours is not really helpful here. It's not really doing anything. Kind of right in the middle. I suppose a little bit more on the bullish side. Daily, we are seeing more divergences between all major moving averages, implying that they are heavily bearish. The last time we had this sort of splayed effect of all lower periods below higher periods was back and over here. We got the death cross riding over here. We got the death cross riding over here. The 200 simple looming above everything else, slowly but surely kind of curling its way down. Very, very similar price action right here. I'm not suggesting that it's a fractal, but when we can standardize for price action using some sort of a technical analysis edge, it can work. And we do see something very, very similar right on over here. And again, moving averages are just the most straightforward thing in my opinion, because it's quite literally telling you about the average of fucking price action. It's like, but the problem is that people just use them in the complete wrong ways, which is so bizarre. It's like, it really, like, think about it. A moving average is an average of price action, right? So what is it telling you when they're all sloped down? We are trending down, from a mathematical perspective. There's nothing like crazy about it, but people always like want to find this special cross that, denoted this happened last time and this and that last time. No, it's more involved than that. But when you see this many things going on at the same time, it does make sense. And I would say that, we probably do have a little bit of upside here, but make no mistake, we're still in a downtrend as long as we're below this 9,500 high right here on a weekly basis. That is the only thing that can change my mind about Bitcoin not being bearish, is just creating a higher high and a higher low on a weekly. If we can do that, I'd be happy to not be bearish, but until we do that, I'm happy to be bearish, just like, the last like 5 years of price action history. Weekly actually did have a decent close, to be fair. We did close well above the 89. We closed below the 55. Is this a rejection or not? I don't really consider this anything. I consider this a consolidation, as we do see momentum oscillators kind of flip back around. Weekly Stokes are coming back down, which is really nasty there, actually. And weekly RSI is heavily bearish here as well. And weekly Jewel is a continuation sell signal. The weekly is very bearish. But I am hesitant to say that this plays out like immediately. Remember, we can pop up all the way on over here and still be in a downtrend on a weekly. We can literally rally up about a little bit more than $2,000 and still be in a fucking downtrend. So there's a lot of space to fill out here. I do think that we're probably in a more bouncy territory than anything, and that's likely to, trap some more longs into this region, and then probably dump it again. So can I be wrong about this next sort of price action likely, going up in this region right here? Yeah, absolutely. I'm only going off of pivots and everything right now. I'm not doing anything like super crazy, but that's why I have the invalidation points to the downside, as always. And of course, this is always never financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but negative slopes on the 200 simple and the 200 exponential moving average has never been a good thing for Bitcoin, or basically any asset. And having the death cross on that time frame with the exponentials, with all of them having the bearish splayed out effect as well, is also pretty much never a good thing as well. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at right now. Typically when we do get a death cross, we will pop back up and test it. And looking at CMEs, we will be getting the exponential moving average death cross relatively soon, probably sometime this week, somewhere around here. Or would it be this week? December 12th to December 15th region, very, very likely. But a lot of the time we're going to rally back up into that region and test it. And that's actually very, very bearish when you do that. And then get rejected from it. We could also just shoot right through it. But it's still aligning with, a short term up into this region. And then as these guys cross, if you see a rejection there, that's going to be the next big signal that we are heading massively down, most likely, or at least to come back down and test like 6,500. Going back on over here, let's go check out some that I haven't really been showing too often, but I think that is very much worth consideration right now. This is the Bitcoin longs on Finex. We can also look at it on datamish.com and look at the actual statistics of it, and we can see that they're paying a rate of 0.024%. We don't really have any shorts on the board. I don't think that analyzing the shorts is all that helpful, because there's just been so many major short positions that have been claimed, which kind of skew the data a little bit and make it less interesting. but the longs has been pretty consistent within the history of Finex. And the thing with this is that basically we have about 38,000 coins long on Finex right now. 38,000 coins long is always 38,000 coins long. Doesn't matter which exchange it's coming from. It could be from any, any measure of all exchanges. Doesn't matter. But the fact is that they are on the board right now. And to put this in perspective, this is literally more longs than we had back on over here on the dump from 6,000 to 3,000. This is more longs than we had back on over here on the dump from 10,000 to 6,000 in March 2018. This is about as many longs, more longs than we had on the July dump in 2018 from 8,400 to 6,000. 8,400 to 6,000, and way more longs than we had actually, funnily enough, at the high of 20,000 a couple years ago. So this puts a lot of downwards pressure on price action. To explain that for a second, when everyone's already long, which is what this pretty much suggests, there's really no one left to buy, right? And so with price action going mostly flat and sideways in a range, it would suggest that these people are going to start to consider their fees per day at 0.024%, which is not high at all. It's really not. The short funding rate is pretty much non-existent at 0.002%. If this was like double or triple this size, it would be relevant, but right now it's still relatively low. But keep in mind that most of these people are underwater, right? If we go back, let's actually go back to it for a second. If we put it on a daily, we can see that this has just been going straight to the goddamn moon since 22nd of November. So we can just take like the middle of these guys right around the 28th and say that, most of these coins probably been average price somewhere around the 28th of November, which was right here on this dildo, we're kind of around that same area. I'd say the average of this guy would be around 7,600. So a little bit underwater right now. So that just means that all these people who have been paying this rate for the last like 2-3 weeks, whatever it is, in some cases even longer than that, of course, anytime that we get above that region, they're probably going to be more likely to be a seller, right? Because they are just looking at this price action. They're saying, well, the price action is not fucking moving. I'm paying these fees each and every day, and everyone else is already long. Maybe I'll just kind of take my ball and run for a little bit and search for a better entry elsewhere. Anyways, so yes, that puts a lot of downwards pressure on price action for any sort of a rally that we might have. So I do think that, they might give a chance for longs to get out somewhere right around here. Maybe it's 7,800, maybe it's 8,200, maybe it's 8,500. I don't really have a strong opinion on that. I do think that we probably have some short-term upside, and then I'd probably be looking for those people to get the fuck out, and at least smart ones, most likely, and then we'll probably get resumption of trend longer term. I know I said I wouldn't talk about higher time frames, but I just can't stop looking at the monthly. This is atrocious right here. I don't think that we break this range on the monthly this month. I think that we probably play between, at the very most like 8,500 and to the downside like 6,900 this month of December. So it's going to be relatively, low volatility and low just action in general. Of which, you already know from the last week of price action, pretty fucking lackluster and pretty fucking boring. But hey, just filling out the range this month would imply that we probably do, test the tops out of the range, and it's looking probably somewhere like right around like 81, 8,300, something like that, somewhere right around here. It doesn't need to be exact, but we can very much pop up there. And this is not changed around anytime soon. This is ugly right here. This is a lower high on a monthly, and the second that we close a monthly dildo below the 21 is the second that the long-term analysis videos start to make a lot more sense, as we'll likely coming back down at the very least to the mid 6,000s and probably mid 5,000s, maybe even lower than that over time. Again, I'll refer to that video so I don't talk in circles here. Anyways, I do want to check out the 2-day and the 3-day just very, very briefly. 2 days interesting here. If we do take out last 2-day low at 73.87 on Mexico, that'd probably be good enough for me to at the very least look for that move back down to 72.50, and this is going to start to look a lot more nasty. We would have hidden bearish divergence in place between this point and this point, and I'd be looking for another retest of the 200 simple down here at about 6,900, 7,000-ish region. So yes, even just taking out this last 2-day low, again, 73.87.5 would be very, very bad to me, and we are going to see the 21 cross the downside of the 200. So I would get immediately very bearish if something like that did happen, for a move down to the low side of the range. But like I said, I'm not expecting a break of the range to the upside or the downside this month. I think that it probably happens early 2020, like late January, early February, perhaps. Looking at the 3-day, I do like this base support being formed at the 200x Benjamin average right here. And this does look more constructive than not for, at the very least, a short-term up. We do see 3-day Stokes having a fresh cross the upside. This was confirmed, I believe, on the last tick, which we just got. And I think 2-day Stokes are the same as well. Yes, indeed they are. They are up, holding this trend line all the way back from October of this year, which has been calling some of the nice lows during this downtrend. And 2-day RSI, same. Wait, sorry, we already spoke about that. What about 3-day? 3-day does not have the same sort of divergences in place, so I do think that this one's a little bit more clean as far as charting perspectives go. So yeah, I think I'll start to wrap it up here, or let's actually go look at the dominance. We'll go look at the top shitcoins as well, and then come back. Can we get the dominance? That'd be great. Let's see. Man, I'm like so I don't know what the fuck's going on with me this morning. I just get frustrated so easily for whatever reason. Just whatever it is. When Bitcoin's boring like this, man, it brings out the worst in me. Anyways, looking at this right now, yeah, weekly on Bitcoin dominance, I'd still be bullish on it. I think that we're probably going to come back down here to like 68, 80-ish region. But longer term, I do think that we flip back around and head up towards 70.5 and then 71.5. It looks fucking bad to me. Or, I mean, it looks good to me, which is going to be bad for most alts, but we probably do get another down. So most alts are probably going to have another short-term rally. And then I'd be looking for them to put in like major tops once again as this does get ready to set up and explode. We do see weekly Stokes getting all the way down here as price action's been mostly flat and consolidating at a high level, which is quite bullish. And we are officially above the 200 simple once again with yesterday night's close. So let's go check out what's like the traditional shitcoins that we like to look at. Cardano for whatever reason, because he just plays quite nicely. Yep, looks to me like he's putting in a little bit of a local high right here, probably coming back down in the middle of the range. 480, 475. I've been saying this for like the last week. Same thing. Nothing's really changed there. What about Linky Link? I actually like this chart longer term, but short term, very likely coming down. Next level would be 25,500, and probably below that would be somewhere in this region, like 22,500-ish region. Longer term, though, like I said, it is still a good chart. So I wouldn't destroy a good chart with just a couple weeks of price action, but it's still very much in an uptrend, but we have a lot of space to fill out to the downside and still resume that uptrend, to be fair. Let's see. What about like a Litecoin and a Butyrol? Wow, pretty god awful here. Oh man, new lows on a weekly closing basis. Fucking great. Super bullish. What about Mr. Butyrol? Wow, that definitely looks like a reversal formation. Jesus Christ, man, these are just dogs. Let's go look at the dollar pairing. Here's my biggest. This is good for a short-term up. I do like how Mr. Butyrol has regained the 10 simple. I do think that we probably pop back up in Tesla 21. That bodes well for Bitcoin because we typically want to see this market move together, right? And if I am looking for some short-term up on Bitcoin, I generally want to be looking for some short-term up on altcoins. Mrs. Litecoin, more of a dog than Mr. Butyrol, I suppose, but fighting for it right here, I guess. It's not anything pretty, but we do have daily Jewel not really giving a signal. I'm really searching for straws right now. Stellar, same thing, just a god awful chart, but looks like it's going to fight for it here. Monero, not fighting for it. Not good. What about Ripple? Ripple fighting for it. Good, nice. Again, still pretty bad chart overall, but at least short term. Okay, for a little bit more maybe. EOS, goddamn man, kind of. Neo, yeah, a little bit. Maybe move up to $9.50. Tron, Jesus fucking Christ. Oh god. Bcash, oh my god, man, I'm trying to find reasons to look for a little bit of a pumpy pump to the upside, or not even a pumpy pump, but just a bounce, just a little bit of a bounce. Give me a chance to get into a longer term position perhaps, and that would be absolutely great. Anyways, I'll go back over here now and just wrap this bitch up. Anyways, looking at this right here, still kind of stair step its way up on the lower time frames. Yes, we do have higher lows in place. We actually even have some higher highs in place as well on the 4 hour, which doesn't matter all that much. But the levels are, and the levels that have been and the levels that will be have been the same for the last few days, for the last week really. If we violate this area to the downside, right around 7,400, I would be looking for a move all the way down to 7,250, probably small bounce there, and then continuation down to 7,000-ish region. But I'm less inclined to think that happens. I'm more inclined to think that we wedge ourselves into this area right here. here, play out a small term ascending triangle within a greater potential cup and handle right here, within a greater Adam and Eve right here. And if that does happen and we actually do confirm above this region right here, 75.50 on at the very least a 2 hour, I would be looking for extension all the way up here into this pocket, 77.50 to 7,800, 78.50, which, you know, it's like a $300, $400 trade, $300 trade, fair enough, you know, decent enough, with great potential to actually get into the lower 8,000s if we can confirm above this next level, this next critical level at 7,800. Keep in mind though, 7,800, a big area. That's our last little local high right here on, you know, probably a daily. It's a 4-hour 200x benchmark average, which we have been harassed by for quite some time. It's the, what is it on the daily? It's around the daily 377, which can be a pretty big deal. But you know, I do think that Bitcoin's going to give a legitimate try here, as we are kind of primed, you know, on the lower time frames right now. But hey, if we do choose the southern path, again, I think that the way to trade it is quite simple. It's quite easy. And if we destroy this potential higher low right here, well, it's time to fucking put back on the bear clause, I suppose. At least, you know, at least on that time frame. I didn't reference the Bitcoin VWAP ratio. It's basically the same as what we saw yesterday. It's still nasty. So longer term, I am still, you know, I still have to be bearish just based off that and several other things. But you know, right now, I think the key for this next piece of price action is figuring out, you know, how high do we get on this bounce? Have we already seen the top of the bounce? Are we going to get up to maybe 78? Are we going to get up to maybe 82? Are we going to get up to maybe 85? Are we going to reverse a trend above 95? Maybe, possible, but Jesus Christ, man, you got a lot of things staring you in your face in the way, so I don't think that happens anytime soon. Again, one step before the other, and this video mostly focused on the lower time frames today. Because that's where all the action's been going on, or lack of action has been going on. So that's going to do it for right now. I'll be signing off right now. I'll be back on tomorrow with some more video analysis, live stream perhaps once again, and if I catch a live trade later, like a live scalp, perhaps I'll post that. But man, we haven't even really had too much opportunity for such things as of recent times either. So I think that's going to do it for right now. A little bit of a boring video today, but sometimes that's trading, man. And realistically, you know, we've seen this plenty of times before, where we get into these long form consolidations, you know, back on over here, back on over here, back on over here. Bitcoin loves these 3-month long consolidations on the highs and lows to reverse the trend. And sometimes you get continuation as well, like we did in 2018. But you know, my point is that this is one of the times where consider trading different assets. It's likely to keep the trading itch bug off your back, or at least off mine, man. Which is probably why I've been more on edge recently. I don't know why, man. Maybe I need to get, I don't know, maybe I need to get like more sleep or something, or whatever the fuck. Maybe I need to meditate more. Who knows? Anyways, that's going to do it for right now. I'm going to be signing off. Take care, and until next time.